Good day. Welcome to my session with Emeritus Professor Stephen Adei. We are looking at sustainable ways in which the ordinary person can save, invest, and hopefully join the Millionaires Club. Today, we are going to look at mutual funds, which in my book, 12 Keys to Financial Success, I designate as the small investor's route to professional investment. It seems to be the best way for an ordinary person to have access to all the professional advice you would need with your small money. It will be recalled that we are looking at where money grows, or where you have to put your money, and over time you will gather your wealth step by step. We had earlier looked at credit unions, call accounts of banks, fixed deposit, CDs, or we looked at corporate bonds, treasury bills, Tier 3 pensions, provident funds if your employer offers it. Today, my focus is on mutual funds, the small investor's route to financial success. Let me take a stop here and address the issue of what has happened in the recent past of Ghana because the government defaulted in honoring or paying its debts on bonds. That was the domestic debt exchange program with its corresponding foreign ones. Let me say that one must be very, very careful if you were an investor in mutual funds for what has happened. In the first place, as I've said somewhere, it is 1 in 100-year phenomena. And as bad as it is not going to be something that will be reoccurring. Secondly, despite the fact that there has been this exchange program, reduced interest rate through the mutual funds to 10% and individuals to 15%, historically, that is still a very good rate. And so we say among the accounts, nsuo fa ba na unya nsuo num, to wit, if your child gets drowned, you don't stop drinking water as a result. I want to assure you that in the long run, one of the best and reliable and stable avenues is through mutual funds. And already there's a recovery. All the main mutual funds have established parallel funds, so your money is directed away from government bonds. We are trusting that the government will be able to honor its bonds when they become due and normalcy. But let me tell you the reason why I think that the mutual funds should be something every small investor, worker putting their money aside, should consider. And historically, the return has been phenomenal. The first mutual fund in Ghana was, of course, Data Bank YPAC, and for the best part of 20 years, return an average of 30 to 50% per annum consistently. And even despite the aberration of the DDEP, that's the debt exchange program, I can assure you that those who are consistent investors in mutual funds are likely to be the winners in the end. The good news is that there is virtually a fund for every taste and character. There are some which they invest in fixed funds, that means money funds like treasury bills, corporate bonds, and the rest. Then there are those who also invest in the stock market, like the EPAC, and there are some which are, we call balance funds. They put some of the money on the fixed income route money fund, and then they also invest part in stock on the market, stock market. Hence their name, balance funds. In Ghana at the moment, I don't have the numbers on my hand, but there are altogether maybe about 30 to 40 mutual funds. So there are many operators in the market. Of course, some of the leading ones are EcoBank, EDC mutual funds, which they have about 5 or so funds. Data Bank, which started the mutual fund journey in Ghana, has again several of them: M Fund, B Fund, ARC Fund, EPAC, and the rest. Republic Bank has one. They invest basically in real estate, so that those who want to benefit from any real estate boom can go there. So there's a variety of funds, cash funds, and the rest. And their track records generally has been good. Let me give you, and I'm now reading directly the headlines of the chapter of my book, 12 Keys to Financial Success, about the mutual funds. And in the book, I give as many as 10 good reasons why I always will recommend mutual funds as part of anybody's, ordinary person's investment portfolios. And let me share them quickly within the time that I have. So here are the 10 good reasons to invest in mutual funds. First of all, it is easy for anyone to start investing in mutual funds. The ease of entry itself is commendable. What do I mean by ease of entry? Once you select which fund manager you want to invest through, whether Data Bank or EDC or Stanbic, REIT, that means the one by Republic Bank and the rest. Once you go to their office, within a matter of minutes, filling forms showing your IDs and all the details, within 5 minutes you are registered. Hopefully there will be no queue though. Then, thereafter, you can at any time add to it. And what makes it easy is that many of them you can start with as low as 10 Ghana cedis a month. I don't encourage you to do 10 Ghana cedis. You can do more. But the fact that you can start with such a low, they require a minimum that, of course, you have to start with maybe 50 or 100 Ghana cedis. But you can top up at any time, any working day. And these days, you can also do it by direct transfer. Hopefully, if you are joining my Millionaires Club, you'll be doing it for 10, 20, 30 years. However, another advantage of it is that in the worst case scenario, if you want your money back, normally, except during those affected by the domestic debt exchange program, within 24 hours, sometime at most 3 days, you have your money back. You just inform them and you have it. Either you go and collect your money or it will be sent to your bank account. So there's ease of entry, and second, there's ease of exit, and you can stay as long as you want. The third reason why is that historically, they have matched the treasury bill rates. Historically, they have beaten all the instruments you will get in your bank, including, for profit linked insurance investments. And therefore, over time, you will find that their historic good performance will work for you. As I said, the fourth is, I've already mentioned, is the variety. If you are high risk, you can go for the total stock, or if you are very conservative, you can go to the fixed income and treasury bills and those who invested in them. If you are, we say, a honey hole in between, you can go for the balanced funds. So there is variety of funds for almost every conceivable taste. If anyone understands the mutual fund and says that I don't have one suitable for me, I really doubt whether you are actually ready for investment. But the most important part for me in investment, to show stability, you need to diversify your portfolio. In other words, invest in, say, companies, in the stock market, treasury bills, bank, overnight lending, and the rest. But if you have 100 Ghana cedis, how are you going to invest in all this? Impossible. You enjoy the power of diversification if you invest through the mutual fund. Why? Because the mutual fund manager collects 100 cedis here, 1,000 cedis here, 10,000, and you take some of the companies. I was looking at one of the mutual funds in which I invest in. They have 3,300. That's one of the small funds. If you go to the older ones like the Data Bank, EPAC, you are talking about 500,000 people contributing every month. So that if everybody contributes 50,000, 50 Ghana cedis, you are talking about about 25 million every month or more. And so, even though individuals are contributing within their means, together, it's a big fund to be managed by the managers, and therefore they can afford to diversify, bring all the returns together, and of course, the profit after their commission in managing it, they share it among the investors. To me, participating in mutual funds gives you this type of flexibility and diversification, and you cannot get anyone better than that. There is a sixth reason I've given in the book, is that there is availability of information. These days with electronic means, you can almost check your investment at any time. Just check my investment in Petra and other places. Within 10 minutes, you know where it is. And of course, they also make sure that periodically they send you the information. I can always walk there and they can print all your transactions for you. For me, that, and the government ensures that that is done. And that brings me to my seventh one. Because the mutual funds are dealing with ordinary people, and none of you, how are you going to stand against the might of EcoBank's EDC? If you are investing 200 Ghana cedis a month, if there's something goes wrong, are you going to court? And the lawyer, even before you sign, you say hi, may charge you more than all your investments. So the government is very particular in ensuring that their regulations are kept. I chair 2 mutual funds, and every now and then they want to even check the school you went to, and you have to go for training at least once or twice a year, and the rest. Why? Because the government wants to keep a tab on those who are managing the small person's investment. It is meant to protect the small investor so that the government agencies will act on your behalf. At this moment, there's a lot of competition. EDC have about 5 funds, Data Bank has about 5 funds, and there are many others. You have 30 to 40. So there's competition among them. And that competition is very important for the investor because they cannot charge you too much in investing. Because if you do, the return that will be coming to the investors will be small, and therefore they are likely to lose clients. And that competition is good, and the fund managers always try to get the best return for their investors. I've already mentioned the issue of low minimum requirements to do so. But let me come to two last ones. First is this, and this is very, very important. For political reasons, sometimes people send out wrong information. A case in point is data bank funds. The data bank funds has nothing to do with Kenoforiata or data bank as a company. Each mutual fund stands on its own, and the shareholders are the owners. Each fund is a company by itself. Data Bank, B Fund, M Fund, AG Fund, all are companies with their own boards, independent of the parent company. The name Data Bank so-and-so means that they are the ones who set it up. Initially, somebody has to set it up. And of course, they may be the managers in the sense that they do the placement, but if they do so, they pay the fee. And the directors of the company need not use Data Bank at all, because a mutual fund is a company owned by the investors only. And therefore, every year, the directors have to account to the investors at an annual general meeting, and they can be fired if the members feel that they are not getting good return or their directors are not performing. In the same way, EDC, which was set up with many funds and good performing ones also, it's not a company which is a subsidiary in the sense of owned by EcoBank. Each of the funds, the EDC will be owned by EcoBank, but each of the funds is an independent, autonomous company. And I think it's very, very important. So you become an owner, a shareholder. In fact, some people during the downturns of economy want to say that, yes, I put my money there and I'm not getting good interest on it. No, you don't get an interest when you invest in a mutual fund. Rather, they invest it for you and the returns are shared proportionately. It is not a savings account or a treasury bill you have bought. So be very careful in there. But for me, the strength of the mutual funds is the professional management. I am an executive chairman of a small company, and when we have a cash flow in excess, we have to place it, and since it's not much, I guide them in doing so. But it's not something I take pleasure in. Oh, should it be put in treasury bills, or should we go to a savings and loan or investment house? No. In a mutual fund, the managers are professionals. That's all the job they do, to manage the funds, to place them and see. And that professional management is so vital for the investor. So when you invest in mutual funds, and I trust that you will do so, I invest in 3 mutual funds of Data Bank, M Fund, B Fund, and EPAC. I invest in about 2 of EDC, that's EcoBank ones, and 1 or 2 shares elsewhere. In fact, since there are diversity of them, I can also, in addition to the fact that each of the funds has a broad spectrum, you can, if you have, say, 1,000 CDs, you can invest in about 3 or 4 good ones. However, before you do an investment, as an economist, we say that, buyer beware. It is important at least for you to ask for the record of those companies, the mutual fund company, they have been returning, so that at least you are sure that you are going to get good value for your money. Please, in selecting the funds, it depends upon your taste. If you go for purely stock mutual funds, which in Ghana, the only one is Data Bank EPAC, then remember the fortunes of the stock market will also apply to you. But it's been known all throughout the world that the stock market investment mutual funds have consistently been the best performing ones. But not everybody has the heart, so that tomorrow the companies don't declare profit and the rest. So if you are weak at heart, you go for the money fund or fixed income funds that invest in things like only treasury bills, corporate bonds, and the rest. If you are half-half, you want to risk a little bit, but you don't want to lose, so that you have a stable element, you go for the balance funds. So which ones you select should be determined by what your risk appetite, and this is what makes the mutual fund such a good one. I must confess that I have been a beneficiary of mutual funds. I started when I was working with the Commonwealth Secretariat in London and UN in New York. So I was so enamored when I came to Ghana to find that Data Bank had started the mutual funds, and over time, more than 30 such companies are in existence. I think that in the end, they are one of the big sources of generating investment and savings for national development. And I wish that people would take advantage of it and profit by it. For me, it is the poor man's way, or maybe poor man will have a connotation of negativity, the ordinary man's way to rise from rags to riches with time. Please, when you do invest in the mutual funds, be patient. Oftentimes, we do not take to heart this biblical principle: he who gathers wealth little by little grows rich. It is not a Ponzi, the ones you are promised that you are going to get 100% per month and the rest. Those who have gone there have gone away without their shirt. But mutual funds will assure you consistent returns. And we will look, when we come back, look at other avenues of investment, such as starting your own business, joint venture or alone, and the rest. But today, I've devoted all this time because I believe in mutual funds for the ordinary investor. And once you have accumulated some money in the mutual funds, you can think of using some of the funds in setting up your own businesses. Shalom and the Lord be with you. We will meet again, but never forget that God being on our side, 8 a.m. every Saturday morning, you can listen to me again, usually on a different topic, and we are going to go through our series of investments, and then also go to YouTube. You'll find Professor Emeritus Stephen Adei's site, and you can always catch up and refresh, because it is to your advantage that you get out of poverty through consistent savings and investment. It is possible, and you can reset your agenda from today. Go to a data bank, go to EDC, go to Republic Bank, go to Stanbic Bank, or one of the many other, this is my good friend, Fede, Togoe Afede's good firm, SAS, and many others. Don't be left out. because in 10 years from now, you will be sad. You didn't start your mutual funds investment early. Shalom, and may the Lord be with you.